So my name is Shelby Stutz, and I am the gallery curator at the Walter E. Terhune Art Gallery. Today, we are here to celebrate this 2021 Student Art Show. So we're here to say a few words about the exhibit, and we are also featuring Emily Pies in her solo exhibition. So the Student Art Show is actually a juried exhibit. So all the students, they submit their pieces throughout the semester, and then we have judges come in, jury, and then we contemplate the show, we create it. And then from there, we choose the best of the best and give awards. So joining me is Jeremy Meyer. He is the chair of the Fine and Performing Arts Department, and he's going to say a few words about the exhibit as well.
Thank you, Shelby. And Shelby, I'd like to thank you for organizing this great event, being able to share the reception here tonight, the presentation of the awards, and this great looking exhibit here on campus. So thank you for your work as the gallery curator. I'd also like to thank the School of Liberal Arts for their support of Fine and Performing Arts here at Owens. I'd like to thank Rob Thomas and his broadcast media students from the Student Media Center and their support of broadcasting tonight's event as well. Very importantly, I would like to thank all of our faculty and staff here in the Fine and Performing Arts Department who have been wrestling for the past year with the challenges of social distancing and inspiring and encouraging the perseverance of our young artists who continue to contribute work. We're really excited to be able to celebrate their work tonight and in the exhibit through the rest of the semester. So I will pass back to Shelby to introduce the next portion of the event.
Thank you so much, Jeremy. Yes, and I also want to mention this is also another special exhibit for us because we included students who could not make the show last year. We had to cancel it because of COVID-19, unfortunately. So we're so happy we could open it up to past students and just make a big celebration for all their accomplishments. All right, yes. On to the next portion of the exhibit. We will be featuring an artist talk by Emily Pies. So Emily Pies is an Owens alumna. She graduated in 2015 here at Owens Community College in the commercial photography program. So I had the chance to talk with her and we had a really wonderful discussion and we recorded it here so you can hear it. She has some great advice for the students and I hope you enjoy it. Today is Emily Pies and she is our featured Owens Community College alumna for our 2021 Student Art Show. Thank you for joining us today, Emily.
I'm very excited to be here.
Gosh, we're so excited to have you. We really feel strongly about having a alumnus representation during the Student Art Show because it's very encouraging for our students and it just shows alumni have traveled and where they have grown. So thank you for joining us.
Oh, I'm super excited. I remember doing the student art shows when I was there and they were super nerve-wracking. So having someone who's been through there before can only help.
Yes, definitely. And any advice you can provide, I know the students will love it. So we will continue on with I have a first question for you here. So basically tell us about your background. How did you become interested in art and what inspired you?
So when I was a child, my father was working full-time and going back to school to get a criminal justice degree to get promoted. And one of his electives was photography. And he had to do double exposures as an assignment. And me and my siblings were his test subjects. And there are these amazing photos somewhere of my older brother boxing with himself and my sister giving herself sass. And then there's this terrifying photo where there's 4 of me. And I was immediately interested. You know, I bugged him for the better part of a year until he finally just got frustrated, taught me how to use a film camera and sent me out into the world. So actually my father was my very first teacher and my very first camera was his student camera and he is never getting that camera back. So that's where I began. And ever since then, I don't know that I've gone more than a couple of days without taking a photo.
Wow, gosh, that's so wonderful. And to have the inspiration from your father, that's got to be such a great connection for you and to kind of continue on his legacy as well.
Yes, we're so similar that, you know, I understood his frustration with my nagging him for more information, but I knew it would wear him down and he'd have to teach me eventually.
With that being said, what made you kind of pursue Owens and to get into this photography kind of career and to grow your art?
Well, I wanted to hone my art a little bit more because I could tell that my art was still on an amateur level, and I had an idea of where I wanted my art to go. I just didn't have any way, a path to lead me there. So Owens worked very well with my work schedule and, life, and being able to take night classes or evening or weekend classes to, learn and hone my craft a little bit more. So that's what attracted me to Owens.
That's what I've realized a lot here too, is we have a lot of non-traditional students. So you have people who are in the midst of their career, or they're just beginning their career, or they're retired and they want to pursue some extracurricular activities they've always wanted to engage in. So I always love that about Owens, is having that flexibility, and I can imagine that really helped hone in your art.
Yes.
Can you tell us a little bit about your experience at Owens? Did you learn any certain skills with photography, or do you have any great memories from being at Owens?
I made so many friends, period, just in classes, and with the teachers, with the other students, with the lab tech. It was really much a community, which was the best part. Like, if I was struggling somewhere, learning something or understanding a part of the craft that I didn't get, there was always somebody there to lift me up. And, some of my favorite memories were in studio photography, having to draw and sketch an idea and then make it what it was in your head. One of my biggest epiphany moments was in studio photography, where I had sketched something that was roughly the idea of the image I had in my head, and I managed to execute it perfectly. And that was a time in my life when I was questioning whether or not I was going to finish my degree. And having that moment happen when it did told me I was on my path and I was where I needed to go. So I have some great memories from almost every photography class I've ever taken.
What's so important with a college is to have these relationships and to have that epiphany moment. It's the goal of a college or a university is to help someone grow and learn. And to find that moment, it's like, oh my gosh, this is what I want to do. I can imagine that was incredible.
It really gave me the energy to finish out my degree and to graduate.
That's wonderful. And your final degree was in photography, correct?
Commercial photography, yes.
Commercial photography. All right, thank you. I wanted to clarify. Awesome. Another question, how has your art evolved since graduating?
I did initially, after graduation, take a job in the photography industry. It was a photo studio, portrait studio. And because I thought that's where I could, create my own niche, and I discovered that I really wanted to get back into fine art, so I was able to get back into the nighttime photography, double exposure photography that had introduced me to photography to begin with. So it was kind of almost a full circle moment that happened immediately after I graduated. So I got back into shooting in the dark.
Starting with that, do you want to tell us a little bit about this particular exhibit, what you're featuring for the Student Art Show?
Yes. So most of the images are nighttime photography or, long exposures. And I, like most people, have a natural fear of the dark. Humans are diurnal. We don't have the tatum lucidum, that's that shiny thing in animals' eyes that make them see in the dark. So shapes in the dark look like monsters to us. And for me, dealing with a fear, in order to overcome it, I need to make it work for me. How can I change it and control it so that it's not so scary anymore? And that's kind of what the thought process was behind this series was, yes, the dark is scary, but how can I make that tell a story?
Well, can you talk a little bit about the process of how you use this light in the darkness?
So a lot of it is spending hours in the dark, setting up a shot, setting up a moment that you want to capture, making sure your minimal light sources are there. You can control exterior light sources, and it's just a lot of pre-planning, and then shooting and hoping for the best, and then taking a look in your viewfinder and going, well, we got to spend 20 more minutes resetting because I did something wrong. And I had some of my husband and his brother and his brother-in-law and some close friends. We spent a night in the dark trouncing around oak openings to get some of these photos. And some of my favorite images from the series are from that night. And we had bug bites and twig scratches by the end of it, but it was just so much fun to make this story in my head come to life.
And I feel like that is so important. I feel that there is some disconnect with art and having fun with it. You know, there's some people's like, oh, I'm super serious about this and this is my focus, but the story that goes along with it and how it came to be, I think is also super important. And I I think that is a wonderful story that you tell with it.
Thank you.
Definitely. And so the light portion, could you talk a little bit about that? Like what did you use to illuminate what did you use to illuminate the
trial? There was so much trial and error with this series because some things have a different the incandescent of certain lights changes when you photograph it. So there was a lot of playing with LEDs and then playing with, just a small pocket strobe and using a flashlight. At one point, I ended up cutting a shape out of cardboard and backlighting it with just a standard Maglite flashlight to create some of these shots, not knowing that they were going to come out the way they did. It was just a lot of, well, let me throw this at the wall and see what sticks. But I was able to utilize, household things. I made eyes out of cardboard paper tube rolls and put LED lights in it to give the effect of a creature in the trees. And it came out way creepier than I expected, and I enjoyed every moment of it.
I think that is so much fun. And yes, going into that thought process of the enjoyment of it and it showing through your artwork. I think it really does show through your pieces, and I can't wait to show people what you have created here, definitely. So I'll change gears a little bit here. You do have a different career path than art currently. So what are you doing to balance that and still be able to create and have another career as well?
Yeah, I mean, I have to pay the bills and keep that, roof over my head. So I work a 9-to-5 job, but during the winter months, it's harder to get out and do nighttime photography. So I find other ways to outlet that need to create. I learned how to crochet. My sister taught me how to knit. My husband and I occasionally will sketch and paint together. Just any way that I can, make something out of nothing to keep fueling that energy. And then when it gets warmer, I can't stay indoors. I'm out taking pictures, and I don't know that there's a spring or summer family function that I haven't documented with my camera. So just for me, I always think of it, I don't have to create the greatest masterpiece when I'm making something. As long as I am creating and fueling that energy, it's still alive.
I think that's such great advice too. It's no matter what is so important to create one way or another. And it's still your passion too, even though you have that 9-to-5 job that helps pay the bills, you're still passionate about what you do, and you don't let it stop. And I think that is so important.
Yeah, and I think people sometimes get discouraged because it is hard to make a living as an artist, and anyone who can has my admiration, and that's a goal to someday maybe be able to support or add to the family income with the art. But I'm a realist, and sometimes, you get a flat tire and you need the money for it. So having a 9-to-5 job allows me to not worry about finances and allows my art to be a passion instead of something that I depend on every day. And that's something I wanted to balance and make sure that I avoided having to depend on it to the point where I didn't want to ever have to hate it. I had to do it every day to survive. I wanted to still have that passion and that love.
Oh, those are really wonderful words, Emily. Thank you. It's so true. Like you don't want to be stressed about it. When you're stressed and you feel that, this is your lifeline, your artwork can turn into something else. So I really appreciate and I honor your passion and still continuing to work with photography and, still supporting yourself with another career. And I hope I can do that same thing too. Like, being a gallery curator is my main career, but I hope I can get back to my art someday as well and continue to sculpt again.
Right. And And, you know, and I always tell people who ask me, you know, what do I do when I feel too overwhelmed by the day-to-day things? There's nothing wrong with taking a break and stepping away from your art for a minute. And I ended up in my current career path because the job I was working at went bankrupt, and the finance to, you know, pay me what they were supposed to wasn't there anymore. And I needed to keep a roof over my head. And I went to my mother very upset about it. And she's like, listen, the company is hiring. I can get you a job. Photography won't go away. It will always be there for you. You'll take it wherever you go, and you'll get back to it again someday. But for now, come work here, take care of the 9 to 5, and then learn to balance it. And, you know, having supportive parents and a supportive husband really helps. Like, surrounding yourself with people who lift you up is a key.
Yes. No, that's so inspiring, Emily. Truly, like that is so important to anybody's career in life, is just to have people who are supportive and surround you by them. Definitely. Oh, wonderful. Thank you. My next question. Do you have any ideas right now that you're thinking for future artwork, or that you'll be implementing? Anything, new skills or new designs you want to be trying out here soon?
So a lot of what I learned doing this last series a few years ago, because this series has been waiting to be shown for a while, you know, I've been playing around with different levels of light, different sources of light, I've been burning different alcohols to see what color they make, just to see how I can incorporate that. Because getting back to what got me into photography is, like, I realized I didn't explore this as much as I did when I was younger. So getting back to exploring and, you know, tricks and new tools that I learned along the way, things that I wish I had known before I had done these photos. You know, if you have a very pale skinned associate, make them wear pants when you're doing nighttime photography. They'll change the way the light moves. Yeah, I keep a notebook in my purse, and I found some little mini sketch colored pencils. And if I have an idea, I sketch it out and keep it in the notebook, so that when the weather permitting, or, you know, the time or the funds come around, I can try and create that as a photograph. So it's just a lot of making sure that I capture my ideas and then reverse engineer them so that they can become the piece of art I need it to be.
What advice would you give to current Owens Community College students that are currently taking classes, or even students that are looking about graduating here either in the next month or next year or so?
Absorb as much as you can, because there is so much knowledge there. There are so many people who have come from different facets of life, have different experiences, and it is a great way to expand the way you think about art, think about creating, and you know, discovering new outlets for it as well. Because, you know, before I got to Owens, I was going to be a commercial portrait photographer, and now I'm, you know, running full speed at fine art. So you pick up what you can and hold on to the good memories and take those with you, because sometimes, you know, thinking back on a moment you had in black and white 1 or digital 2 will inspire you to create something new long after you've had that class.
That's wonderful. No, thank you. Gosh, we really appreciate that advice. And I know just having your artwork here is going to be so inspiring to our students. And we are so excited to have it on display. I wanted to open it up to you. Did you have any final comments or last words, or anything you wanted to kind of talk about more with your artwork?
Putting me on the spot here, Shelby.
Yes.
Most of the time I create things for me, ideas or things that are in my head that I want to get out of them. This series was very much a passion project doing that. You know, I was going back and attacking a childhood fear of the dark, and, you know, trying to make that fear visible and then turn it on its head and create something different. And I think I did accomplish that, because I have had several people who have looked at some of my pieces, go, "Oh, that's creepy," and I'm good. That's what I wanted. So it's very much a closing of a circle for me, from where I started with photography to where I'm at now, and it's a nice way to capture that moment for me, or encompass that circle finally. I think that's what I meant to say.
Perfect. Oh gosh. No, that's wonderful. Thank you so much for talking with me today and presenting this talk for the people and our guests at the Walter E. Terhune Art Gallery. And you can come see this exhibit in person. We are taking appointments, and we will also be making a virtual version of it as well. So for people who cannot come physically, we will have it on display. And her artwork is also for sale. So if you're interested, please feel to contact me and we'll make that happen. So thank you again, Emily, for joining us. We truly appreciate your presence here.
My original speech was, "This is my art, please buy it. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk." So this was a little bit more enjoyable.
I love it. Perfect. We want to sell artwork, so I love it.
Excellent.
That was so wonderful. Thank you so much, Emily. I'm so glad I had the chance to have that conversation with her. I've known her from a previous career, and her work is always just so stunning. Her exhibit will be on display until May 14th. That's a Friday. And we will have open gallery hours available along with appointments. So if you prefer an appointment, you can email gallery@owens.edu, or you can call 567-661-7956 to schedule an individual appointment. But we will be posting open gallery hours so you can come visit whenever. And we're just so honored to have her artwork here and just to showcase our awesome alumni and just to see where they've gone. For those of you just joining us, we are here celebrating this 2021 Student Art Show and our alumna Emily Pye's solo exhibition. So we just had our artist talk by Emily Pye's, which was really wonderful to be able to talk with her again. And now we will be starting the awards ceremony for the Student Art Show. So the Student Art Show is basically had a bunch of students submit their artwork. They have been juried, and then we have our top finalists selected for the final awards. So without further ado, I will hand it off to our faculty members to begin announcing the awards. Thank you very much.
Hello, I'm Kevin Schroeder. I teach in the Fine Art program here at Owens, and I'm here to give the awards for the Fine Art students. Those are students that are taking painting, drawing, 2D design, 3D design, printmaking, those kind of classes, ceramics. And we have 2 honorable mentions, and then a 3rd, 2nd, and 1st place award. The first honorable mention goes to a digital drawing by Rebecca Boswick titled Juno. And then the 2nd honorable mention goes to a mixed media design by Alexis Kleperic titled Aries. And then our 3rd place is a wonderful charcoal drawing by Catherine Fogel called A Closer Look at Fabrics. And then 2nd place goes to an oil painting by Shacy McGinnis Boland called Family Portrait. And then finally, 1st place goes to a digital drawing by Curtis Lutz called Sinking.
Casey Cook from the CRT program.
And I'm Carrie Martin. I am a professor in the CRT commercial art program as well. I'm going to go right into telling you a little bit about our judge for the CRT program. Her name was Melissa Werman Householder. Getting her start in design at only 15 with her city newspaper, Melissa went on to the University of Cincinnati, where she interned for several design firms across the country that each had completely different design focuses. After graduation, she moved to the East Coast with a job at the Museum of Fine Arts at Boston, and then shifted to design agency positions in both Boston and New York before eventually moving to the Toledo area in 2010. Melissa now works from her home office in White House, Ohio as a freelance brand designer and creative director for arts organizations, restaurants, hotels, and national burger chain. Her work has been published in multiple books and magazines, as well as won 13 Addy Awards. In her personal life, she enjoys being on the board of Bittersweet Farms and the American Advertising Federation Toledo's chapter. Cooking, traveling, exercise, and family time with her husband, Ryan, and her two children, Sylvia and Kent as well. I'm going to go right into the first Design Achievement Awards for our music design posters. The first one goes to Logan Yarbrough for the Fall 2019 12th Annual Creative Noises Live Music Series poster design. Another one goes to Mackenzie Elkert for the Spring 2020 15th Annual, Melodic Expressions Music Series poster design. The next one goes to Charles Lanier for the Fall 2020 13th Annual Creative Noise Live Music Series poster design. And then the final music award, achievement award goes to Samuel Zampino for his Spring 2021 16th Annual Melodic Expressions Music Series poster design.
Continuing with Design Achievement Awards, now we're going to talk about the theater poster design. Allison Phillips, Fall of 2019 for The Servant of Two Masters. Logan Yarbrough, Spring of 2020, Little Shop of Horrors. Cameron Large, Fall 2020, The Tempest by William Shakespeare. And Michael DeSanto, Spring 2021 for The Laramie Project 10 Years Later. Congratulations to everyone in the Design Achievement category. We're going to continue now to our 5 finalists, starting with honorable mention. First, we have Cameron Large for the Ronin Blasters logo animation video, and then Michael DeSanto for the Chicago font poster.
I'm going to announce the third, second, and then first place. First, third place goes to Hope Baumgardner for her Stefan Sagmeister magazine spread. Second place goes to Michael DeSanto, the Laramie Project 10 Years Later theater poster. And finally, first place, I can't say enough about this one. This is an amazing design. Goes to Paige Sigurdsson for the 2020 The Pandemic Calendar. Congratulations to all our winners.
Yes, congratulations to everyone in CRT, and keep up the good work. We hope to see everyone out next year as well.
Good evening. My name is Ruth Foote, and I teach photography here at Owens, and I'm here to share with you the awards for the photography. And the photography that you're going to see in the exhibit when you do have a chance to come in includes digital, includes stuff that's made in the darkroom, so we have a wide array of work that you'll be able to enjoy. Before I get into the awards, though, I would like to recognize a couple of our students who won Silver Student Addy Awards in the Toledo chapter of the American Advertising Federation. And so a little shout out to Eddie Fook Lam and Isaac Adams for their 2 pieces. And both of those pieces also got into this show, so you'll be able to check them out. And also a thank you to our juror, Mary Penchef, who is a well-known Toledo area photographer who's won awards, locally, regionally. She's known for her fine art work, her commercial work. She's well known for weddings. And we're really grateful that she took the time to have a look at our student work. All right, now on to the awards. All right, an honorable mention goes to Isaac Adams for his photograph, Sunset, Longs Peak, Colorado. Our third place is awarded to Aliana Menchenka for Closing Hour. Second place is awarded to Zalis Wolfgang for his photograph, which is a black and white negative, scanned and then printed digitally, for Valkyrie. Our first place goes to Maya Polsdorfer for her mock ad for Carhartt. We do have one more award, which is a special award, which is given in honor of David Cantor. It's the David Cantor Memorial Award. David was our darkroom lab manager for many years, and he brought his professionalism and his expertise from having served many, many years as a photo editor for The Blade, as well as the New York Times. And so we were very blessed with his mentorship for both faculty and for students. All right, and This award goes to an image that tells a story. This year, the recipient is Michael Albert for his image, Consideration. So congratulations to all the students, and for all the students in all the areas. Please, if you have a chance, come down and take a look and congratulate your peers, and hope you get a chance to come out and see the show.
Thank you, and congratulations to our students. We are truly honored to have this artwork here in the gallery and to honor our students, and they're just so talented. And we want to show them that we appreciate all their hard work, especially with everything that's been going on. So thank you so much. And again, the gallery is open for, we'll have a public open hours. We will also have appointment hours as well. So feel free to call 567-661-7956 to schedule an appointment, or email gallery@owens.edu. And we'll also have open hours posted. So feel free to come on down and see this beautiful artwork. And I'll hand it off to Jeremy to say a few final remarks.
Great, thank you, Shelby. Again, please do come check out our website to find out when the available hours are, to check out the entire exhibit. You've been able to check out a sample of the work tonight from our winners. Thank you again to all of our fine performing arts instructors, but including our presenters tonight, Kevin Schroeder, Casey Cook, Carrie Martin, and Ruth Foote. Thank you to the broadcasting students and to their leader, Rob Thomas, and the School of Liberal Arts. Thank you all for joining us here tonight.
This program was produced by the Owens Outcomes Student Media Center.